Okay, peeps, we are live. Check it out. We have Murder with us again. Just to point out some things here. Uh, Next week and then every other week after, Murder has got things he's going to be doing and requires him to be gone. So he will not be here. It'll just be me. So we will still have our shows on Sundays every week, just as we had planned before. It's just that we'll be short on a murder. We might be picking up Searchy. We don't know yet. We might pick her
Yeah,
up for.
she needs a little airtime.
What's that?
She needs a little airtime.
Yeah, I know she needs. I know she needs some airtime. Murder's quiet. All right, let me fix that. All right, I raised him up to 90%. Oh, I know he's got to talk to.
Do I have to?
Yes, you have to.
Man.
That better.
It's a little better, yeah.
A little. Oh, Jiminy Christmas, lady.
Well, you're really loud in comparison.
Here, I'll turn him up this way. See if that makes it. All right, so for the beginning of the show, we're going to talk about servers, what's involved with servers, what is a server, and the benefits of having your own server versus renting a server. There's pros and cons to everything. So we'll go over the pros, we'll go over the cons, and then it boils down to who thinks pro is better and who thinks the cons are not making it worth doing when it comes to hosting. So we'll talk about all those different things, get your guys' inputs, and then we'll go from there. The second half of the show, we'll talk about all of the game releases that have been announced at E3. What I feel, what Murder feels are going to be the good games that are going to make it, and those games that just don't look like they're going to make it. So those will be the things we'll talk about today as well. All right, so we'll start with Murder. Talk about your dealings when it comes to servers, and then we can go on from there.
Advil and Excedrin.
Yeah.
Lots of Advil and Excedrin.
Well, you know, it does take quite a bit when you own your own servers versus renting a server. When you rent servers, I think the pros and cons for that is that renting a server, it really boils down to who you get. Depends on the quality of your server, the quality of the internet going to the server. All that belongs to your, not your internet, but your server provider, who you choose. And there's tons of them out there.
You're talking about for renting one, right?
Yeah, for renting, correct.
Yeah, so a lot of them will offer extra features. They charge you extra for the priority level of the CPU. They charge you extra for memory. They charge you extra for this and that. Try to find one that offers those included.
Yeah.
A 24-hour backup system, a power backup system. Some of them offer it, some of them don't.
You need to go on, cat. Go. Get.
Meow.
I know. He acts like he's neglected.
Now, as far as what me and Grim are talking about here at the moment with owning and running your own servers is we're not talking about turning an old desktop computer into your game server. That's a whole different type of subject. It's actually a lot easier to run a server if you're using an old desktop to run your game servers.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to game servers, I found, and I'm sure Murder has seen this as well, that if you try using, oh, thank you guys for those hosts. I appreciate that. Hard drives. If you go with the standard 7200 mechanical hard drive, versus say your 10,000 RPM or your 15,000 RPM, you'll notice a big difference in how your games play when somebody's on your servers. The 7200 runs really slow, and so it has got to play catch up to the type of server CPUs you're using. And with the amount of RAM you have, I mean, you really don't need a fantastic, well, you don't even need a graphics card for your servers. So you can get away really cheaply building a gaming server that, if you're going to be playing games locally with some of your friends, that would work great for it. But then when you got people who are a few states away, 3, 4, 5, 6 states away or more, you're going to need the better hard drives to help reduce the amount of lag that they're going to be getting. And then the rest of it's just the word. It's really not that important when it comes to hosting the game. It boils down to having the right CPU, enough RAM, and usually if you're getting a server, you're going to get enough RAM with that server to run everything. I would say the minimum 64 gigs if you are going to be running some of the higher end games as far as hosting the server for them.
If you're only running, say you're only hosting one game in particular, like you and your friends, let's just say 7 days, love to play 7 Days to Die. You just want to host one 7-day game server. You'd get away with, if we're talking about
bare minimum.
Are we talking about desktop servers or server blades?
And server blades themselves. And server blades when it comes to server blades. Because
I think you could get away with 32 at a minimum if you're just running the one game.
Well, and you gotta think what type of intensity does the game put on your CPU, because that's mainly what everything's going to be running off is the CPU, and your RAM picks up the rest of the slack. You have no GPU to count on.
Well, your server's not having to process graphics.
Exactly. It's everybody else.
It's only processing the information in and out to keep you, your friends, in sync with everything that's happening in the game on the server. So you don't have to worry about graphics being processed.
Yeah.
So it's a little less than what your computer goes through to run the game.
That is true. Now, say you run your computer locally for a game that you're playing with your friends. Let's say 7 days again, or in period. It doesn't matter, either one. I've done both off of my local machine that I played the game off of, and I'll tell you right now, it takes a toll. And I run 16 gigs of RAM, and with 7 people plus myself playing the games, didn't matter which either one I was using, I was coming close to using all 16 gigs of RAM, hosting the game, playing the game, and having people on my computer playing the game as well.
Yeah. Before I bought the server blade, I was running 3 different game servers.
I remember.
And my processor, I have a 4.6 gig 8-core processor and 16 gigs of RAM, and they were. If I tried to play one of the games while hosting to people, it was maxing out just about 100%. So like Grim said, it takes a toll on the machine.
And that's why servers are important. If you're going to be playing a game and you want to play with your friends, it is important to host off of a server. If you have one or you have a box that you can dedicate to one, that's great. If you don't, and you intend to use it long term, then renting a server is going to be your best bet if you don't purchase one.
Yeah, so you've got to kind of balance out how much you're willing to spend. If you're okay with, depending on the game, some of them are $10 a month up to $20 or $25 a month, depending on the game, how many slots you want for your friends, things like that. But how long do you plan on keeping it? $20 a month after a year. I mean, you've almost, at a year and a half, you've spent enough money to buy a blade. Yep. Granted, there's a lot more to running a server blade than, like we were saying earlier, than running off of a desktop.
Yeah. Well, you got to look at, I run a server cabinet. I have a cabinet that I run all my servers in. We purchased the cabinet with 5 servers, a network switch. The network switch we got was a 16-channel network switch, but it was only a 10100. It was not the gigabit network switch that came with it. Also running exhaust fans for the heat inside that case, and running your internet to the back side of it. So I had to take my own cables. We created Cat6 cabling. We bought a whole big roll of it and strung it out, put the ends, put them on, and to run off of this. I mean, you can't just run a regular Cat5 cable and expect to get decent off of it. Cat6 is going to be your best bet, because you kill some of your packaging, I would guess you would call it. I don't know the exact terminology they use for it, but you would lose that using a Cat5 versus a Cat6, especially over the length of however far you have it from your router or your modem, depending on what you're using. So I use Cat6 because it's good up to 200 feet before it starts to degrade any of your signal, as long as there's no breaks in it. Power consumption. That alone will make your electric bill go up off of running servers. So expect to pay a little bit more on your electric bill. Paying a little bit extra because you have to keep your temperatures down in your room a little bit more, whether you're using fans or you're using the AC. That again costs more money on your electric bill. So you will see an increase in your electric bill when you have those. So that's added cost. Upload speeds on your internet, cost of that alone. Like, well, we pay for what? Right? For our upload speed? Right? We have 25 megs up, but we have 300 download speed. So download speed is not a problem for us. It's the upload speed. And you go anything less than, I'm going to say you go anything less than 10, you're asking for problems. Especially if you're trying to play the game and somebody else is trying to play the game, and you're trying to upload as much information to the server, plus you're playing on the server. You can't just go directly to the server. You got to go out and back in to play on your server. So you're actually downloading and uploading at the exact same time.
Some games can be played connecting just to localhost
Yeah,
or your
it's
local
if it's
IP
set.
address.
Yeah, if it's set that way, yes. Not all games can do that.
Yeah, not all of them. Now, going back to the cost of running servers
Running
and stuff,
servers, yeah.
your initial cost on an actual server blade, I discovered, is higher than you think it is. So you buy the server blade. I got mine for about $370. Came with 64 gigs of RAM, two 2.4 gigs, 6-core Intel processors already in it. So I had to buy the hard drives, 10,000 RPM. Weren't too expensive. The most expensive part is going to be buying your operating system, because you don't standard home edition Windows is not going to run on a server blade.
Nope.
It's not built to recognize dual processors. So you're going to have to get a server edition, which you can get a home edition of Windows for $99. Server edition Windows, at a minimum, I'd say $200 to $300.
Yeah.
For one license key.
Yep, and that's a year.
Yeah.
That's not like a one-time purchase. That's a year. So every year you have to spend that extra money just to keep your license up for the Windows server. Hey, how you doing, Scorpio? Now, the cheap way around that is running a Linux-based server. But when you run a Linux-based server, not every game that you will try to host can be run from a Linux-based server, because they are based on Windows itself. So you got to find ways around that.
Yeah. Plus, you got to think to yourself, do you know how to run a Linux operating
That's true
system?
too.
A lot of people don't. So if you don't, you're stuck with just Windows.
Yep, and spending all that extra money to do it, because you got to do this legally. You can't just go in and pirate down something like that, because it'll come back and it will bite you in the ass.
Now, for mine in particular, like I said, I have a server blade, 64 gigs RAM, dual processors. It was worth the money because I run, oh God, let me see.
5, 6 games.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 game servers off of this one. And to be honest, that's not even reaching its maximum.
No, it's not. But then you have to configure all of your internet ports going in and out as well. There's time involved with setting up servers. It's not just a plug and play. There's no plug and play involved.
Time and labor is the biggest things. But for me personally, like I said, I run 8 different game servers open to the public, no passwords. So anybody in the world can get on these things. For me, though, it's worth it. I've got 3 games that have well into the double digits of regular players.
Empyrean is one of them.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, Empyrean has become such a large game from where it started. It really has.
Yeah, it's
especially with this last update. The last update has made just a fantastic. I see this coming out of alpha here soon. Really do.
I think it could. Yeah, they're getting pretty close to nailing everything down pretty good.
Yeah, and what's funny is they're closer than 7 Days to Die is.
And 7 Days has been out for
a lot. That's what I'm saying. They're so much closer than 7 Days will ever be. When it comes to servers, you got to look at the cost benefit. Is it more beneficial for you to just rent the server, or is it more beneficial for you to, hey, Biggs, how you doing? Or is it more beneficial for you to purchase a server, keep it, host your games off of it, which is, better for you. You got to look that up. You can't just, that's something you have to make the decision. Nobody else can make that decision for you.
Yeah, like I said before, if you're just wanting to host one game for you and I don't know, say 7, 8, 9, 10 of your friends, if you have an extra desktop, sure, make that your quote unquote server machine. Most of them will run just fine. Now, depending on what's in them, if you've got one that's like 20 years old, still
it's really not going to work that well.
Still using floppies, don't bother. But if it's an old gaming computer, you've upgraded recently, sure, make it your server computer. You don't have to pay somebody monthly to run it. They're not hard to set up. If anybody wants to do that, feel free. Ask me, ask Grim. If you're just running one game, simple setup. We could get you done and running in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's really simple. I think the biggest thing is making sure that when you're going through your systems is reports, opening, closing, forwarding, all of that. That's your biggest problem when it comes to setting your games up. 9 out of 10 people who have an issue of a game not running properly when they try to set up a server is because their ports aren't configured properly.
Yeah.
And Scorpio, you should try Hyperion. Hyperion has come a long way. And Murder has a server. It's a damn good server. He just added a shit ton of planets to it. So he has more play fields out there for the game. He has you got teleports on each of the on each one of the planets, don't you?
Yes, the standard, the vanilla version of the game comes, what is it, Grim? Like 8 or 9 planets. My server has, I think 22 planets.
Yeah.
So all the starter planets I just finished setting up the other day, each have portals. They look like Stargate portals.
Yeah.
You walk through, you're teleported to a safe location on whatever starter planet portal you walk through, and all the other planets also have portals returning back to wherever you came from. So
yeah, well, I was going to bring it up to you, and I'll do it here right now. Creating a planet that is your starter planet, like a scenario planet, where everybody starts on that. Everybody starts on that planet. Yeah,
we can do that now because they added the custom scenarios to it, so we can create a single starter planet with a custom starting package of tools or weapons.
Yep.
And a little safe shelter to start in, and then still have the portals to other select places.
Yep. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I have. I know we're getting off topic here, but with a game like Empyrean, that is one of those things where having a server is a good thing, because that game's going to stay running for a long time coming.
Yeah, they've also, like you say, getting off subject, one last thing about Empyrean that I've been looking into, because of custom scenarios and because of portals and teleport pads, you can create custom instances, kind of like running a dungeon somewhere. So you walk through the portal, it teleports you to a building, a ship, or a planet, whatever we set up, and you go through, fight stuff, you collect loot. The creator gets to decide whether you keep all the loot, some of the loot, or none of the loot at the end.
Hey,
there'll be another portal that takes you back to where the planet you started from, and once people leave the instance, it resets itself.
Yeah, and that's that's the one thing, Scorpio. The game has come such a long way. It is worth picking it up right now, and I think it's on.
It is on sale.
It is on sale, 50% off. It's like $10 right now through the Steam store. Like $10 right now. So it is worth picking up the game.
Yes.
Oh, you've had it already. I got you. Okay. Yeah, it's really worth it. And in fact, just get with Murder. He'll give you the information for the server if you're not already got the information after the show. Now, going back to topic, servers. You don't have to be the wealthiest person to own a server. That is a misconception. You just have to be dedicated to being on top of that server. So if it goes down, you get it back up and running again. That's on you. Yeah. Now, if you rent a server, it's on them to get it back up and running.
And like we said earlier, if you're just doing it for yourself and some friends and you have an extra desktop, run it yourself. I mean, the maintenance on a desktop version server is really simple, not hard at all.
No, it's not. Most games run really, really well off of a desktop server when you're creating a game, a server for a game. It's just making sure that you have it with enough RAM and just enough CPU that you can do it. I'll tell you right now, I can run a Minecraft server and have damn near 20 people on the server on 1 gig of RAM with a shitty CPU.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I run a Minecraft server for my kids off of a Raspberry Pi. If anybody knows what that is, it's not very, powerful.
But they are versatile.
Oh, very versatile, but they're not like high power.
No, they're
tons
not.
of memory and big processors. No, these are running off of mobile phone processors and 1 or 2 gigs of RAM.
Well, Snapdragon is a pretty damn good processor for phones, in fact.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Qualcomm did a damn good job with that, I think.
Now, speaking of requirements for running games on a desktop server, if you have an old computer, like I was talking about earlier, if you've recently upgraded computers, changed computers, you have an old one. Now, just to pick a game that's not too intensive on server side, 7 days again isn't intensive for the server to run. So if you've got a quad core with, say, 8 gigs of RAM, you can easily run a 7-day server for you and 9 or 10 of your friends.
As long as you're not playing on that computer.
No. Yeah, don't play on the server. You play with your new computer because you're going to turn your old computer into the server. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things is a lot of people don't grasp that concept. A server is just a server. You don't play on it. You don't use it for anything other than hosting that game. You use your other computer to tie into that to play your games. A downfall of owning your own server is going to be the amount of time you put into it. Not everybody feels that the time is worth it. Murder and myself, we think the opposite. It's worth the time that you put into the servers. They aren't that complicated, Scorpio. It's just a matter of just putting a little bit of effort and time into them to understand them. And once you've got them, once you understand a server, it just from there just easy peasy. But time, the added expense to your electric bill, making sure that the game files are saved falls onto you to backing that stuff up. You have to make sure you're always backing things.
Yeah, and depending on the game too. Now, there's a few games out there that have server manager programs that you can download, and it does a lot of that for you.
Yeah, ASM's a good one.
My Arc server manager, run 2 different Arc servers. It runs my Arc servers. Once I start the Arc servers, honestly, I don't ever have to touch them, ever. It searches for updates every 24 hours. If there is one at like 3 in the morning, it shuts them down, updates them, automatically starts them back up, and emails me and tells me that it's done.
Yep.
So once I turn them on, I can just leave them until the day I die, and they'll just keep themselves running.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Hellsguard and his buddy, when they put that Arc server manager together, they did a really good job.
Oh, they did an amazing job.
I mean, when they first started out, it was just the bare minimum but then it just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing and kept growing, and all of a sudden
I
now it's
I I wish, and if I had the money, I would pay them to make one for Empyrean and one for 7 days, just like the Arc one.
yeah, it would be worth it. It really would be worth it. And Hellsguard is a computer programmer. He writes code for a living, so it really wasn't that much difficult in doing it for himself.
Yeah, the features they have in it now are just, I mean, it is self-sufficient, automated. You really don't have to do anything. Pick it's all laid out. Pick your settings and hit this.
Except port forwarding. It will not port forward for you.
Well, no, but that's really not that hard to do.
Well, that's the biggest problem that most people have, though. Because they have such a good product, and it's free, by the way. The Arc Server Manager is free. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that product that they have is so fantastic that it takes all the guesswork out of everything except for port forwarding.
Yeah. You don't have to. Yeah, it keeps up to date with your public IP address, your local IP address. Once you get your mods in, it automatically checks for updates on those. Like I said, you just choose the settings you want and hit start, and you're literally done for the rest of your life.
Yep. I did a tutorial video for Arc Server Manager when it first came out, and they have it up on their website, for their forum website, for the Arc Server Manager. And then I did a second one for port forwarding when it came to a lot of people having an issue. So they point to that video as well. But there are plenty of videos out there other than my own that do port forwarding no matter what game you're playing or what program you're using. There's plenty of videos out there for port forwarding. And they're all the same, basically. Murder, what was the biggest challenge of setting up your server?
My biggest challenge, because unfortunately, and I have talked to my professors since then, at least in classes I've had so far, they haven't taught you how to set up a brand new blade, because most of the time they're going to expect you to have a job that already has blades running. So my biggest problem I had, as a matter of fact, Grim, you solved for me.
What's that?
It would not run games because I didn't have the what was it called? The application manager program installed.
No, it was the .NET wasn't running. You had to update to the newest .NET. It did not update to the newest .NET.
Hang on, let me look. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm gonna log into it.
Well, I know you got it written down probably, but I think it was the .NET you were having an issue with. Oh yeah, and by the way, on this channel here for searching Grim_Gaming, we have a giveaway when we hit 150 followers. And then on my channel, on Grim's channel, Pally, whichever channel you want to call it, that channel, once I hit 1,250, we have another giveaway for that one.
You said at 150?
For this channel, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Because we're sitting at 72 right now.
Yeah. Okay. So here was my biggest problem. All right. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but for those that do, you'll understand. When you're adding roles and features to the server version of Windows,
yes.
I did not know that you had to install and activate the application server role, which includes the .NET framework.
Yeah.
but I didn't have the application server role
Activated.
installed and activated.
Yeah.
So therefore, anything you download, like even if you were to try to download Discord, you're not trying to host anything. You just want to download Discord. It won't run it. It's a security thing. Windows is like, hey, I don't want anything downloaded and running unless you know 100% that that's what you want running. So you have to tell it to
Well,
run the application.
servers are mainly set up for hosting databases all over the world. Hosting databases.
Yeah.
Hosting programs, it's not so much. Only in just recent history has servers been going towards hosting programs. So Windows really has not even caught up yet, or I should say, Windows Server have not even caught up yet to that point. So it's something they added in the back end that you have to activate. So if you're running just a database system, you don't have to activate it. But if you're running more than just that, you're running programs, then you do have to do that. My biggest problem when I got my servers was carrying those heavy son of a bitches in the house with a heavy ass damn case. I mean, my cabinet is a 8-tier cabinet. I can hold 8 servers in it. It's a big cabinet, and it's steel. Sides, back, and front, steel. And it's just heavy as hell. And I'm glad it did have wheels, but getting it picked up and put into the back of the vehicle or taking it out of the back of the vehicle was just horrendous because it was just me and searching.
Yeah, most of these server blades, for those that haven't ever seen one or picked one up, they're at a minimum 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah. And like my servers, my hard drives, I have 15,000 RPM hard drives that came with it. And they're only 36 and 72 gig hard drives. And I can run ARC and 7 Days to Die at the same time off of a 76 gig hard drive. Because you're not downloading all the other BS. You're only downloading what it takes to run the server.
Yeah, see, the 15s, I heard from a few people, a couple teachers at school, that they're a little louder.
They are.
When they're running.
They are.
Yeah, so I went with the 10,000s, and I've got 246 gig hard drives.
Yeah. Now, the fans on the inside to keep these damn things cool, depending on the type of server and how big of the server you got, whether it's a 1U or a 2U blade, I have 2U blades. And on the inside, I have 18 micro fans stacked on each other to pull the heat away from everything and get it away from the server.
Yeah, so I've got a 1U, and it's got 7.
Yeah.
Seven mini fans.
I have 2 1Us, and those are my Dell servers. And my other servers are 2U servers, 2 units using 2 different spaces versus 1 space. And I have 3 of those. And I'm going to be hopefully soon being able to take and get the rest of them up and running. Right now I only have 1 running because I cannibalized the rest of them to get my 1 running. So does anybody have any questions about servers or running games on servers or anything of the sort? Because we're going to switch up topics here just after this here.
Now, if anybody is actually interested in getting a single game server of your own, so you don't have to buy one, and you have an extra computer, and you want to get it running, let one of us know. We don't mind. Like I said, we can talk you through it in less than 10 minutes.
That is true. Okay. Okay, so Biggs wants to know, what are you planning to do with your servers, Grim? And then Scorpios says, eventually I may do that. What I'm doing with my servers is right now I am running just certain games here and there off and on for local play, for my Let's Play series and stuff of the sort. Search just uploaded a picture of our server rack on the CNG Gaming Facebook page. I also run my bots off of there as well for both. Hey, Crafter, how you doing, man? I run my Phantom bot off of there for 3 different accounts. Mine, Searchies, and then this channel here all run off of Phantom bot off of one server. The Discord bot is run off of the server. When I was running games off of this one server, I was running, I can run Conan and Empyrean or 7 Days to Die. I could run different games off of it. I could do Ark and 7 Days to Die. It didn't matter. I run a dual E5 Xeon processors for it. So, oh, you almost finished your Tamriel conversion. Nice. We've been doing good. We've been doing good. My plan is eventually what I'm going to do is set it up that I can rent out servers for people who want to run their bots off of them, or if they want to run a game off of them or something of the sort. That'll eventually be the plan. Then further down the road, once Searchy and I do get our brick and mortar store, we will be setting up a proper server room with plenty of servers to do just that, renting them out for people to play games, here, but also to be hosting LAN parties from as well. Yeah, local guild parties, LAN parties. Back in the day, But it does take time when it comes to servers. You can't just rush into a server. You got to know your server, plan how you're going to run your server before you even buy one. Because if you buy the wrong server, you just wasted your money. Agreed, Herder?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Just making sure I wasn't the only one thinking like that.
No.
Now, we're going to switch up the last half of this here. We went a little bit over on that one, but on this one, we have been, everybody knows that E3 just was the last week or so done. All the games have been out there, what's coming out, when it's coming out, and I want to give my point of view on a few games that I'm looking forward to, but then also Murder and his games that he's looking forward to. And then we would like to hear from you guys, the games that you guys are looking forward to as well. So would you like to start, or you want me to go ahead and start?
I'll go ahead and do a couple.
All right. Assassin's Creed Origins. I have never played any of the Assassin's Creed games. None of them. Never. Only because on console I have a hard time with my hands. I think everybody who knows me knows that I have a hard time with my hands using controllers. So I want to play the games so that I can get a better feel for the Assassin's Creed games. I like the looks of the games. I like the story behind the games. That's the other part. I love that story of Assassin's Creed. And this one here, Assassin's Creed Origin, is pretty much your prequel to everything that they've already started. That being said,
Yes.
I think Ubisoft has got a good thing going with Assassin's Creed. They just don't go the way that Activision has with Call of Duty. Because then you're just SOL.
I'm also looking forward to that one coming out.
Yeah.
It looks, like I said, I've actually played all of them so far.
Yeah.
So I love the series. It's awesome.
I know when it first came out, it was only on PlayStation. When they first released it. And now it's on PlayStation, PS, or PC, and Xbox One. So all three major systems are running the game now. Hey, how you doing, Phoenix? No, I didn't compare Assassin's Creed with Call of Duty. I compared Ubisoft to Activision. Big difference. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And in order to get this much gray, Phoenix, you got to have a lot of kids. Now, the next game that I'm looking forward to is Call of Duty World War II. This is a game that they're actually going back to the roots of what the game was originally all about. They're not all about stupid-ass zombies that you have to go and survive through. It's not about, some walk in space or using spacesuits while on Earth. It's back to the damn game. That's what I'm looking forward to. Yes, Crafter, they did announce the D&D sessions for the Tamriel series. So that's something that a lot of people are looking forward to. What are your thoughts on the Call of Duty World War II?
I'm looking forward to it too. I've always liked the Call of Duty series. I was disappointed when people talked so much trash about World at War, which was World War One.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that was a very good game. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes.
So I find it funny now that everybody's like all excited, and the same people who trashed World at War are now talking about, yay, World War II. It's like, dude, it's the same thing, just a different war now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still the old weapons that they complained about before.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to go back to the Thompson submachine guns and the Car 98 rifles.
Yeah. I mean, you guys still have the you're still going to have the M1 Grand. Still
the Springfield snipers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, they're beautiful guns in the first place, but that's a different topic.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. Like I said, I like most of the Call of Duty series.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stopped playing them with Advanced Warfighter and things like that because it got too much like Halo, and it just wasn't realistic to me anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All right, now next, Conan Exiles. We all know the game for PC. Well, it will be being released for Xbox One in August, but PlayStation 4 has not released a date yet for Conan Exiles. But from what we have played so far here on PC, I don't think it's ready yet. I really don't think it's ready yet.
Crafter said World at War was in World War II. Was it?
It was at the beginning. It was at the beginning of World War II.
Oh, okay. Which makes it even worse to complain about that and then be excited about the new one.
Yeah.
It's the same war.
No, I think they did a World War I too. I just don't remember the name of that one. But there is also coming with Conan Exiles a new expansion. And that is something that will be something to look forward to. But I don't think the game is ready yet. Just like when they released 7 Days to Die to Xbox and PlayStation. just wasn't ready to be done yet, and they did it anyway.
No. Yeah.
They need more games involving cowbells. Oh, shit. I think there should be. There are games that can be done universally, but there's so much expectation of having those cross-platformed. It's not even funny. You really can't cross-platform a lot of these games, even though they're going to try. It's just not worth it.
A lot of them won't be done because of greed. Honestly.
Yep.
Microsoft won't let Sony join theirs. Sony won't let Microsoft join theirs.
Yeah.
It's
a pissing contest.
Which is a shame, honestly, because it shows they're worried about themselves and not more focused on the gamers enjoying the game.
Yeah. Now, one successful game that has cross-platform has Rocket League. That's
which one?
Rocket League.
Oh, okay.
Rocket League is cross-platform, and they did a fantastic job with that. They spent a lot of time and a lot of money to be able to do that. Well, Crafter, when it comes to cross-platforming games, the problem is you got people who create servers for the game, like Xbox. When you're playing a game with somebody, you don't have a dedicated server somewhere. It's either you're hosting it or somebody else is hosting it. And if that guy gets all pissy-tailed about it, guess what? You just lost the game because he quit. You don't have that with a PC. You have actual servers. Whether you created that server yourself or you went out and bought one, which was the first part of the whole damn conversation. Xbox, if you have Rocket League and you have it on Xbox, PlayStation, or on PC, all three cross-platform with each other. Rocket League is the only game that I know of to date that has successfully done that. See, that's the problem that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to console gaming and PC gaming. PC gaming have dedicated servers for things, whereas console gaming do not. And in order to get a dedicated server for an ARC server for Xbox, you have to have a second Xbox to create that server from. And then people who have Xbox can play on that server then. You can't locally host a game and be able to play a real game that way because they have a tethering in ARC. You have to be within so many feet of the person or else the game is lost.
Yeah.
So, that's granted that's on a different subject, but it's on the same subject as servers for the first part of the show. Anyway, Conan Exiles, I really don't believe it's ready for Xbox One or PlayStation 4. I don't think it'll be ready for at least another year. They've got a lot of work they need to do.
Yeah, they still got stuff to do to it. I've got a couple. Well, I don't know how many Star Wars fans we have out there, but Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I haven't even played 1 yet. I'm still on the Old Republic. That's me. I'm the Old Republic guy.
I like the Battlefront storylines and the multiplayer action. They've got really good maps. It's very well balanced.
Mm-hmm.
With the last Battlefront that hit Xbox One and believe it was only PS4. Not sure if they put it on PS3. It was done really well. So you had the ability to, after kind of like perks in Call of Duty, you're able to control a Jedi for a short amount of time. So it's a very interesting game. I'm looking forward to Battlefront 2.
Cool.
It comes out I believe it was. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. November 17th.
Yeah. The next game that I was going to talk about is Days Gone. It is a zombie apocalypse game. It is one game that is, I think, you've got 7 Days to Die right here. 7 Days to Die is a good game, but Days Gone is right about here. It's not the top, but it's like right about here, just above. Only because of the graphics and the gameplay. It's more smooth. And they haven't released a date for that yet, but it will only be on the PS4. A lot of people are getting away from campaigns. I don't appreciate that. They're going for more of the PvP games. They're going away from campaigns altogether. I've seen a lot of people start doing that, and it sucks ass big time. I'm a big campaign fan when it comes to the games. I like the campaigns. I like the storylines. I like the ability for questing. But I also like PvP, but that's why I play PvP games. And I have other games that are just quest games. But Days Gone, it's pretty decent. The graphics are really, really good. The gameplay is really good. All the sceneries are fresh types of sceneries. Anybody who's played 7 Days to Die can attest to, if they see Days Gone, there is a big difference. The gameplay, big difference. It is nice. Yeah, Crafter, I know you are. You've always been one of those guys that's been a big campaign guy. I've known that from day one. The next one, God of War. That's another one we're going to talk about here in a second, Biggs. God of War. It will not be released until the first quarter of 2018. And it only be released to PS4. God of War is one game series that I don't think they really made a terrible game. It was just a little better than the last one, a little better than the last one, a little better than the last one. Well, this next one, God of War, I think is going to go from being down here about quarter of the way on up the bar of a damn good game. It's going to go damn near 3/4 going up as far as bars are concerned when it comes to the type of game. And they're talking about being more immersive into Kratos and his son and just all these little aspects. It's really going to be a really good game, and the graphics are 100 times better than the last God of War. God of War 3, I believe, was the last one. God of War, I've only played it a couple of times, but my hands get tired because of the nerve damage in my hands, so my hands get tired really quick. So I can't hold the controller that long. But from what I've played of it, I love it.
Yeah, God of War series. God of War series is it's a good series.
In fact, that is the God of War stuff they have on IGN. Yeah, IGN. Yeah. One game that I really am not going to be a fan of, even though I was a fan of the game series itself, is Metal Gear. They have now put basically campaign on the back end of this game and put zombie hunting on the front end of this stupid ass game. They're calling it now Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, too many people falling into this zombie craze, which honestly, in my opinion, is slowly burning out. But people are still trying to get into it.
Yep. I'm not appreciative of messing up a series of games like that. I'm glad they didn't do it with Splinter Cell. I would have had a shit fit then. The next game, everybody, has heard of it, but the Middle Earth. What was it?
Shadow of War.
No, what was the first one? Shadow of Mordor, right? Or Morden?
Yeah, Mordor.
Mordor. Shadow of Mordor. It was the Middle Earth game that they came out with a couple of years back. Graphics.
That's a good game.
Graphics are just stupendous graphics. It really was.
Kind of sort of an Assassin's Creed type feel to it.
Mhm.
You're sneaking around trying to kill people stealthily. Yeah, I like Shadow of Mordor. It's a lot of fun.
Shadow of War is their next one. Now, the release date is talking October of 2017. It's the release date for this. So you're basically playing the exact same character again, the same Ghost Ranger, or whatever they're calling him. But you're basically the same person, just moving on. You're now going deeper into Middle Earth with it. So it's going to be really, really. I just can't wait. Path of Exile, a free-to-play game that will be released to Xbox One.
What is it?
Yes, they are going to release it to Xbox One after the next update, where they go to 10 acts. Yeah, going up to 10 acts from the 4 acts they have now. So they're really going to be making the game really big. A lot of changes to the game, but I believe they're going to be changes for the better. And it's already been on PC since 2013. And they've progressively been getting better and better and better and better with this game. And it is a free-to-play game. The microtransactions that are in the game are only for cosmetics. For if you're going to make a guild, for the guild tabs, and for your tabs that you get for just yourself, for your own stash. That's the only microtransactions. You have no way of getting a better weapon, getting better gear, or any of that other stuff from microtransactions. You only do that through farming or using Path of Exile trade, where you have other players who are trading you in-game currency for the more better item that they have for sale. So there is like a auction house type thing. Well, it's not even an auction house. It's just a for sale site for the game. And people play it from all over the world. So that is a game that I really would suggest. If people liked the action RPG type games, this is one of those games you should play. You played it, haven't you?
I don't think I have.
Give it a shot one time. You'll be surprised. And it's very detailed when it comes to your skill tree. Skill tree is just, you can go from here to here to here to here, but that way you start going dictates exactly how your character is played.
You got a link to it or anything?
I do. Give me 1 second. Right there. You have a question. Okay, give me 1 second here. Let me read it. Why are they releasing so many PC to consoles? Is the creators asking for it, or the console companies asking? From what I understand, the console companies are seeing how well these games are doing on PC. They want that same success for the console to get more people to play the console, to buy their consoles. So it's a one hand washes the other hand type situation here. It's good for both. The game gets to be put out on more mediums of play. Not only PC, but then you get Xbox, or you get Xbox and PS, or you get PS and PC. It doesn't matter. It's better for both. You get a wider, broad quite abroad. Yeah, that's
Wow.
I know. You get a more broad base of players that way. So it's good on both ends. And that's the reason why I feel that it's more so the console companies who are asking than the actual game companies. Actually, Xbox won't have the upper hand. I think it was Xbox offered more money than PlayStation did, or Sony, I should say. Microsoft is just giving more money to it to get that exclusive, keeping it to the consoles of Xbox. Whereas Sony said, well, you know what? We're just going to wait. And then, only then, will they, look at what Grinding Gear Gaming can do for them to up their sales without having to pay out as much as Microsoft did for the ability to have Path of Exile. What was brought up at E3 was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for Xbox One. Now that is going to be another one of those situations where somebody's going to be hosting a game, they're going to get pissed off, and then everybody's done. No. Because what about the games that are played on Linux? That's not Windows. It's just that I think more games are being programmed through Windows-based programs and then exported over to Linux-based programs. Yes, it makes it a little bit easier, but that's not the reason.
Now, Searchy, when you say works with Windows 10, are you referring to the Play Anywhere portion that they offer? If you buy the game, you get to play on Xbox and on Windows, or are you referring to the being able to stream it to your PC and play and not have to sit in front of the TV?
He was talking to you.
I know you're talking to me, saying stuff.
I said she's getting ready to type. While we're waiting for her, I'm going to go on to the next game. Skull and Bones.
I was just about to bring that one up.
I cannot wait for this game. I was just fixing to link it too. This game looks really badass. You get to be a freaking pirate captain. You can get your buddies to play with you on this game. It is going to be a hellacious game. It's for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC. And it won't be released until the third quarter of 2018. So they got a lot of work they're still doing. So PC, you're not going to see an early access version of this game. You're going to see a completed version of this game, which will be a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It looks like it's going to be really good. I like strategy games, and it is a strategy game. So
it's a real-time strategy game too.
Yes, I've been having a lot of fun with Stellaris because it's the same thing. It's real-time strategy.
Yeah.
This will be similar, not quite exactly the same as Stellaris. It'll be a little similar, but you got a little more detail and choices on like customizing your ships and all that stuff, your warships and stuff.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer is going to be a ton of fun. I can already tell.
Yeah. Well, this Skull and Bones, as Searchy has pointed out, we're going to get pirate hats. when we play this game. We are going to wear pirate hats.
You get an eye patch too.
If I got to, I will.
Tell her, look, if we're getting pirate hats, I want a peg leg and a hook.
He wants a peg leg and a hook, sweetheart. You'll hear that in a second. Wonder if they're going to do cops. I don't know what game you're referring to when you say cops. The front of my ship, I'm going to have a Patrick on the front of it. I hear something else. What?
I think Pigs is drunk.
I think he is drunk as well. Yes, we can tell now. All right, so anyway, Skull and Bones is going to be one of those games. It's on the sea. You can use all the different aspects of the ocean. The Spanish Armada you'd be going up against. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do inside this game. And being a pirate is one of them. You'll be able to the different types of ships. The game Gun of Icarus. If anybody's ever played that game, it's similar to that game, but you won't be playing it in PvP like that. You won't have to wait for a match. You just be sailing around, finding people, taking them out, taking their shit that they got, and moving on. Or you could be the sneaky little SOB who's waiting behind the rocks, and then when somebody takes a ship down, you dart out there, you get it, and you take off again. There is that option. So it's going to be something pretty good. I think it's going to be a well-received game. Searchy already owns this game. No, not like Ark boats. Real pirate ships. And no, it's not going to be like Ark with the boats and stuff like that. No. You won't wake up naked on your boat. All right, so this next one is Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. They have kind of gotten away from Temerel. Just was not a very good setup for online. It just was not. When ESO came out with that one, I believe they were desperate to put an online game out there, and that's what they did. Morrowind, on the other hand, I believe has expanded the game just enough to make it worth wanting to play. Searchy already owns the game. If I can get her to just type in her experience so far, help us understand more about the game. Don't laugh at me. Laugh at them.
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you. You're just not laughing.
Yeah. Yes, I am easier to laugh at. I mean, with a face that only a mother could love, you know. And then she doesn't even really love it that much.
I was gonna say that's kind of stretching it.
Oh, I know.
Speaking of, I'm just gonna kind of, while we're waiting on,
Yeah.
I think she's doing a link, I guess. Pirate games. I got to do the alpha testing for this. Sea of Thieves. It's gonna be on Xbox One and PC. It is a multiplayer, kind of a first or third. You can kind of switch between. Well, in the alpha they had it where you could switch between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a team of pirates together. You get your own boat. You get your team of pirates. and you can go around and explore. You can go do some quests they have, or if you prefer the PvP aspect, you can go around and attack other people and try to steal their treasures. A slight cartoonish look to it, but it was a lot of fun to play in the alpha. I got a few things to work out, but they really weren't doing too bad for an alpha test.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. So you basically have got to use the ability of other people to complete certain quests. Okay. So it's a what World of Warcraft used to be before everybody started bitching about how hard the quests were. And then them taking away my 3 different talent specs trees. Son of a bitches.
Oh no.
Bunch of
Used to come up with some awesome specs, being able to mix between the 3 different
yeah,
trees.
exactly. And you didn't have all these pansy-ass individuals crying about their specs. They weren't crying about this until you started getting some of these younger players. And by younger, I mean people who are anywhere younger than me to 5 years old. But they act like little 5-year-olds. They want everything given to them. They want all the best gear given to them. They want everything that's, just given to them. I mean, hell, even the quest objects are glittering and shining and pointing, hey, I'm right here, come and get me. Whereas before, you had to run around mousing over everything, trying to find what you needed to pick up.
Yeah. Where the hell's this damn bottle? It's like in the corner under a rock or something.
Yeah. Well, now, you don't even really have... I mean, they might as well just give you the quest, you stand there, and then turn the damn quest back in.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is. It's like the Hogger quest. It's no harder. Back in the day, that used to be a hard quest. You had to have 3 people in order to complete that damn quest. And one of them better be a healer.
How about it took a whole dungeon group for warlocks and paladins just to get their mounts?
Oh, yeah, I know, right? And that was my thing. I played a paladin. I was always a protection paladin. I was tank. That was my job. Now you can go through it as a warlock, just annihilating everything. Even though they're elites in a dungeon, you can still go through it and just annihilate them like it's nothing. Or even, whatever class you want to play. You just go through any dungeon you want at your level and not need a party.
Yeah, I love how they give you up to level 20 to play for free.
Yeah.
That's like, if you know the game already,
level 20.
Quite a bit,
level 20 is no time at all.
Like we have, if you've played it quite a bit like we have, and you just want to start a new character for free, you got like 2 hours of gameplay and you're done.
Look, this is what I just got. I just got this from the boss. Stay on track, she says.
Ain't she ever heard of derailing?
Okay, so staying on track. Next game, Elder Scrolls Legends. I was brought onto this by our very own Murder and Spree.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. I don't care for card games. I play the Hearthstone with the boys, my kids and stuff like that. I'm not really good at it, but I still play it because they want to play against Dad. Not a problem.
Now this is PC, Android, and iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now this particular game is actually, I really enjoyed this one because it does go along the storyline of Elder Scrolls. Yeah, dear, we know. But Yeah, this game I really don't mind. I really don't mind playing this one. In fact, I started playing it after I downloaded it, and just about maybe 5 minutes later, he was over there playing it on his computer, and we were, just playing and playing. I'm like, I got this far. He's like, yeah, I'm right behind you. I'm this far, and then I got to what I thought was going to be the end of the tutorial, and you go about the game totally different now, and it does something totally different. No, it just kept on going and kept on going and kept on going. It really followed the storyline all the way until the next area that you got into outside of the tutorial. So I could really appreciate that.
One thing I like about it is most card games are just straightforward. A card with an ability, you throw it down, you try to beat the other guy's card with abilities. This actually has some strategy to it because they separate your play field into two sides.
Yeah, you play one side and you play the other side, but you also got to defend one side or the other side as well.
You can't attack across sides. Like your play field's cut in half just like your opponent's. So your cards on the right can't attack as the cards on the left. But at the same time, the strategy portion I like, the field on the right gives you a one turn, or no, it's until you attack, invisibility.
Yeah.
The little fog of war type thing. I forgot what they call it.
Stealth, I think they called it. Your stealth or your
yes,
something like that.
Shadowfield,
yeah, shadowed. But you can be shadowed on both sides. It just depends on which part of the game you're at, who you're playing against. At one point in time, It could be both sides, or it could be one side or the other side, or one side's got another advantage over the other side one way or another, whether it's for your opponent or for yourself. So each side has its play field advantage, disadvantage to it.
Yeah, it's a very good game. I like it. I like it better than Hearthstone. I don't know why. I mean, there's just a lot of little things that I like about it that, to me, make it better than Hearthstone. I've always liked the whole Elder Scrolls storyline. Anyway, all of them.
Yeah, I do too. So those are the games I'm kind of looking forward to. I am not looking forward to the Fallout VR version. I got kind of pissed off at Bethesda for that bullshit. I got pissed off because they started VR for Quake. Both those games should not even be in VR. Not even close. And then the one thing that I think that might be interesting is Wolfenstein. I think that one will be interesting, but not too sure yet about that one.
Yeah, I played the original Wolfenstein way back on early Windows, like 3.0 or something.
Windows 3.11 for work groups when it came out.
Yeah, way early.
It was a 386.
But it was compared to nowadays, the graphics were horrible. But
Doom graphics. It's Doom graphics is all it was.
Original Doom, yes. But at the time, the graphics were, like, hey, this is cool. It was still fun. It was just hours of repeat play.
It was about playing the game and the excitement that came with that game. Just like the original StarCraft. The original StarCraft, the gameplay, especially when they first came out with BattleNet. Or at the time it was called BNet. I believe it was called BNet. Maybe it was BattleNet. I don't remember. It's so long ago. You still had dial-up. That's how long ago it was. Those types of gameplay, the graphics that were with those games at the time were the best. And you'll see a lot of the games are going back to some of that 8-bit graphics. Especially a lot of your side-scroll games. So, any other games you want to talk about?
I think you hit most of them. So I had one in here somewhere. I gotta find it again.
There is talk of them taking Skyrim characters and making a Hero of the Storm BS game, a MOBA game, but with Skyrim characters. I will not appreciate that.
There it is. I don't know how I forgot about this one. I know we've talked about it before, and Grim, you said you're not too excited about it, but Destiny 2.
Yes.
I want to see it when it comes out. I
Yeah.
want to play it.
A lot of people are. A lot of people are looking forward to it because it's supposed to be better than Destiny was. And I really hope it is better than Destiny. I really do. But they really screwed the pooch with Destiny.
It started out good, but then it just kind of, the more they added, it just, it kind of went down. I personally prefer the story mode of it rather than the PvP portion.
I got you. All right, so what are some of the games that you guys are looking forward to? Or not looking forward to? Yes, Biggs. I totally slipped my mind. Red Dead Redemption 2. I watched my boys play the original, and it looked like a pretty damn cool game. I think that the new one does look just as good, if not a little bit. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be one of those games that I believe will have a strong start and a long time play of people playing the game. So, Biggs, tell us why you're looking forward to the game.
For the storyline.
Are you sure it's for the storyline? Sure it's not for the hookers?
They have hookers in it?
I know it, man. The other day I pointed a couple of them out to Searchy walking down the road, not too far from where we live. I was like, look at that hooker over there. Sweetheart. You know, my nephew, every time he was young, I didn't like his mother, so I called her a hooker all the time. And every time I said the word hooker, he would just start laughing his ass off. And then every time he associates now with looking at his mother, he starts laughing and he can't stop. All right, so anybody else got any other games that they're looking forward to or not looking forward to? Because we're going to start wrapping this up. It is 9 o'clock, and we're running a little bit over, but that's because it was a good show, and we had a lot of good talks going on. Because that's what the show is about. Oh, I am horrible. Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Are you talking about with him pointing out the hookers, Pigs?
No, when every time that my nephew looks at his mother now, he starts laughing because he thinks the word hooker. Because ever since he was little. If I was in the passenger seat, hell, I'd be pointing them out, hanging out the window, going, "Oh, look, here's a hooker."
Can you call them out by name?
No, I don't know them like that. They don't wear name tags anymore. It's like looking at being in a truck stop. You know all about this. Them damn lot lizards.
Oh, I know. There's some very, very unattractive ones.
What the hell happened that you had to allow him messages?
Because he put the word hooker in it.
Are you kidding me?
Twitch popped up an allow or deny, so I just hit allow.
Oh, gotcha. That's funny as shit, man.
I guess it's like an auto mod thing.
It
Certain
must
words
be.
trigger it.
Yeah. Well, you can say hooker all you want. I won't make. All right. So anyway, peeps, we want to thank everybody for stopping by, participating in the talks. Leonka for coming in. Biggs, you coming in. Scorpio, you coming in. Crafter, appreciate you coming in. Everybody that stopped by or hosted, thank you very much from me and from Murder. We like
can't forget Leonka and Nixie Rocket.
Nixie Rocket.
Nixie Rocket's still showing up in the list here.
Let me see. I'm not looking at the list, so I don't know. Oh, Fragrant is on here too. Welcome, Fragrant. Nixie. Okay, yeah, I see them all there now. I'm looking at it. But thank you guys very much for coming by. Next Sunday, Murder won't be here. It'll just be me. But then the Sunday after that, it will be Murder and myself. Only until school starts and we got a regular schedule started because of the kids being out for summer and things of this sort.
If I can get home in time Sunday, I'll be here. If not, don't
it's
expect
okay.
anything. I'll be about 4.5 hours away from home that weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, you got things you need to do. Family does come first. People need to understand that. Family comes first.
Hey, I got one that we're going out of town that weekend to get her ready to college. So I mean, It's a good thing. I'm getting rid of one, getting her out of the house.
It's not a good thing, but I understand.
Yeah, party at my house when she leaves.
Oh, that's funny. All right, peeps. Yeah. Well, we do appreciate everybody for stopping by, and it's like I always say, friends don't let friends game alone. Peace.